People often think that part 1 of the C1 Advanced Reading and Use of English paper is the easiest part because it's multiple choice, but oh my god, they are so wrong. And I am really sorry to inform you of the terrible news. But don't worry, because this video is designed to help you, help yourself, and smash it. My name is Toby, this is Smash English, and here is everything you need to know about part 1 of the C1 Advanced Reading and Use of English paper. In part 1 of the C1 Advanced Reading and Use of English paper, you will be given a short text with 8 spaces. For each space, you will be given a choice of 4 words. Your job is to decide which word goes in each space. Easy, right? No, it's not easy. Let me explain. Part 1 tests your vocabulary knowledge, but it's not a case of simply knowing what each word means. It's more about knowing the meaning of words, but also understanding how they collocate with other words. A collocation is when 2 words occur together at a rate greater than that would be predicted by chance. Basically, 2 words that attract each other. For example, in English, we don't say, I did a shower. Instead, we say, I had a shower. Why? Because collocations. Looking in a dictionary won't really help you with that, because here the definition of have and do are the same. Instead, it's more about your general awareness of the language. Let's have a look at an example, part 1 of the C1 Advanced Reading Use of English paper, and hopefully things will become clear as we go through it together. First though, let's see how well you do on your own. I'm going to display the exercise. I would like you to pause the video and try and do as many of the answers on your own as you can. Then after that, we will go through the text together and I will impart all of my knowledge and wisdom to you. Wow, what a privilege.
Toby, the extraordinary English teacher with his mesmerizing golden locks, possessed a superpower that went far beyond the realm of academia. His of language was unparalleled, enabling him to effortlessly weave stories that captured the hearts and minds of his students. Toby's superpower of language led him to become a beacon of inspiration. His charismatic presence and innate ability to even the most disinterested minds made him a formidable force in education. With boundless enthusiasm, Toby's captivating lessons transformed his classroom into an immersive experience. Creative teaching methods that his students' imaginations and encouraged active participation. Beyond the classroom, Toby's resonated deeply. He became a mentor, guiding C1 Advanced students through personal challenges and offering unwavering support. He created a safe and nurturing environment where his students felt and heard. Toby, the superhero English teacher, exemplified the power of education to lives and ignite a love for learning. His beautiful golden locks may have the eye, but it was his profound understanding of the human spirit that truly made him extraordinary.
Wow, what a beautiful text. I wonder who wrote it. Okay, let's go through this text together, slowly, one by one.
Toby, the extraordinary English teacher with his mesmerizing golden locks, possessed a superpower that went far beyond the realm of academia. His of language was unparalleled, enabling him to effortlessly weave stories that captured the hearts and minds of his students.
So his something of language. We can eliminate ability because grammatically it doesn't work. You can have an ability to do something, but not an ability of something. We can also talk about the ability of something to do something, but that's not what we have here, so let's get rid of ability. Goodbye, ability. It was nice knowing ya. Now we have a bit of a problem, because hold, grasp, and possession, as nouns, all have a very similar meaning. So this means that we need to talk about collocation. Can we talk about the possession of a language? Well, Yeah, I guess we can. If you have a language, then I guess you possess it. But that's not really the meaning here. Instead, in this text, the emphasis is on Toby's understanding and his brilliant use of the language. So let's get rid of possession, and now we're stuck between grasp and hold. Now, which one of these nouns can mean understanding? Grasp. If you have a good grasp of something, it means you have a good understanding of it. So, of course, our answer here is grasp. See, that's not easy, is it? Well, okay, let's go on and do another one.
Toby's superpower of language led him to become a beacon of inspiration. His charismatic presence and innate ability to even the most disinterested minds made him a formidable force in education.
So, the question is, what can you do with a mind? You cannot attend a mind. That's absurd, so let's get rid of that. Dedicate also does not work. I suppose you could dedicate your mind to something in the same way that you could dedicate your time or your energy to something. However, we normally talk about putting your mind to something. So, yeah, but also, we're not talking about Toby's mind here. We're talking about what Toby does to other people's minds. And Toby cannot dedicate other people's minds. That's ridiculous. He doesn't have a superpower. So, let's get rid of dedicate too. This leaves us with apply and engage. And the answer is engage. You can apply yourself to something, and this is similar to dedicate your time or dedicate your energy or put your mind to something. But again, that's not the sense here. Instead, you can engage people's minds. Something that engages people's minds is also engaging. And I'm pretty sure you've probably heard of that adjective before. And if you hadn't, then, well, say thank you, because you've learned something new. So the answer is engage.
With boundless enthusiasm, Toby's captivating lessons transformed his classroom into an immersive experience. Creative teaching methods that his students' imaginations and encouraged active participation.
Oh, blimey. All of our examples are synonyms related to giving people jobs. But only one of them can mean use and is collocated with the noun method. Which one? Employed. You can employ a method or employ a technique. Okay, let's move on. Next one.
With boundless enthusiasm, Toby's captivating lessons transformed his classroom into an immersive experience. He employed creative teaching methods that his students' imaginations and encouraged active participation.
Oof, the thing is, none of these options produce a grammatically incorrect sentence, or even a semantically wrong sentence. If you used any one of these and spoke to someone, then the listener would understand what you wanted to say. That's why this part is so difficult. It's kind of similar to the shower example I gave at the beginning of the video. If you told someone that you did a shower this morning, then they're not going to say, "What? I don't understand. What are you talking about?" They're going to get it. It's just something will seem a little bit, And the same applies to this question. So, do you activate, stimulate, power, or initiate an imagination? You stimulate an imagination. You can initiate an order, or violence, or legislation, but not an imagination. You can activate a credit card, or an alarm, but not an imagination. You can power a car, a stereo, or your home, but you can't power an imagination.
Beyond the classroom, Toby's resonated deeply.
Well, firstly, what does the verb resonate mean? If something resonates, it shakes or vibrates, producing a sound. We can use this literally. For example, his voice resonated throughout the concert hall. But it can also be metaphorical. If something resonates with you, it leaves an emotional impression. Interestingly, it's very similar to the idiom to strike a chord. Think about it. If you're playing the guitar and you strike a chord, it will produce a sound and the sound will continue. It will resonate. So, if something strikes a chord with you, it resonates, it leaves an emotional impression. And the metaphor doesn't stop there, because another way of expressing this idea is to say that something chimed with us. These are chimes here. Once they are hit, then they make a noise because they start to resonate. So once again, if someone says something or you see something that leaves an emotional impression on you, then you can say, wow, that really chimed with me. That really struck a chord with me. That really resonated with me. They all have the same meaning, literally and metaphorically. But yes, enough of that. This does have a point. Look at the nouns. Which of these nouns could resonate? We have result, consequence, aftermath, and impact. Which one of these, literally speaking, could resonate? Well, an impact could, right? Something has an impact, and then the sound of that impact resonates. Something could have a psychological impact, and then the effect of that impact could resonate. So yeah, there's our answer. Impact.
He became a mentor, guiding C1 Advanced students through personal challenges and offering unwavering support. He created a safe and nurturing environment where his students felt and heard.
These are all kind of similar, but remember, we're talking about how students feel. If a student feels expensive or costly, then they see themselves as something to be bought. And oh, good God, no. No. Now we have valuable and valued. Valuable is only related to money. And we're not really talking about money here, are we? We're talking about importance. How important do the students feel? Do you know the word invaluable? If something is invaluable, it means it's beyond the value of money. It's so important that you cannot put a monetary value on it. In fact, if invaluable was an option here, then that could also be the answer. But it's not, so yeah. And that means that we have to turn to valued. If something is valued or something feels valued, then it feels important. It feels respected. It doesn't feel taken for granted. And of course, this is exactly how all of my students feel, as long as I'm being paid for it, right? Yeah.
Toby, the superhero English teacher, exemplified the power of education to lives and ignite a love for learning.
And why, oh why, is life so terrible? Because once again, all of these verbs mean the same thing. So, I hate English. It's disgusting. So we need a verb that collocates with the plural noun lives. Because of course we do. It's another collocation. What about form? Well, I guess scientists could form a life in a laboratory. I mean, after all, we talk about life forms, right? But that's not really what we're getting at here. So, no, let's get rid of form. You can't construct a life, so let's get rid of construct as well. We do have the expression to build a life for yourself, but this refers to becoming independent, to moving out, to living on your own, to starting a family, to becoming a normal person in society. Something that I've never successfully done. But that's not quite the meaning here. So let's also get rid of build. What does that leave us with? Shape. If you shape someone's life, then it means you influence it. This could be positive or it could be negative. It just means to have a really strong influence. My granny's life was shaped by growing up during World War II, for example. That could have been a really negative thing. Could have been a positive thing. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm just trying to think of an example to help you. All right, so the answer here is shape.
His beautiful golden locks may have the eye, but it was his profound understanding of the human spirit that truly made him extraordinary.
This one is fairly straightforward, if you know the idiom. So, you can have your eye on something if you are watching something really carefully. But that's not the meaning here, so let's get rid of had. You cannot take someone's eye or steal it unless you put your hand in their face and remove their eye and run away. But that's disgusting and a terrible thing to do, so please don't do that. Ugh. The idiom is to catch someone's eye. If you catch someone's eye, it means you are getting their attention. For example, you're in a restaurant and you want to pay for your meal that you ate on your own because you've got no friends, and you're waving at the waiter, but the waiter's just ignoring you. No matter what you do, you cannot catch their eye, and so you sit there for another hour on your own before paying alone, going home alone, living alone. Yeah, the answer was caught, all right? God, I'm in a bad mood. Ugh. Phew, that was so much fun, and with that, we are finished. That was how to successfully complete part 1 of the C1 Advanced Reading and Use of English paper. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below. My name is Toby, and this was Smash English.